Okay, so coming up to the back of the train. Nice and easy, nice and easy. Could have been worse. Oh boy. Look at that. That is going to be close, ladies and gents. This carriage on the left-hand side weighs about 50 ton, and this locomotive weighs 50 ton, so they're both about even. Oh, we're scratching. The wheels are spinning. Now that's not ideal. That will damage the wheels, but we'll just leave that there for a sec. Oh, I knew it was there. I knew it was close. Going for a little mosey today. We're just seeing the sights, taking in the surrounds. It's a lovely day to be driving as well, isn't it? Hopefully the weather holds up. Watch out, man, this weather is really treacherous. Having to put on the air brake. Oh yeah, still a downhill. Oh no, I think we've locked up the wheels. We're at 0 the speed. Oh wow, did you hear that? We locked up the wheels. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This is Derail Valley Simulator Edition. Once again, I did cover this game very briefly in my previous video, the first look. And yes, it was quite an eventful one as well. I unfortunately didn't get to drive this locomotive, because if you watch that video, the first look, the DM3, I did manage to actually unfortunately derail it off the turntable. So in fitting with the name of the game, Derail Valley, that did happen. So in this video anyway, I thought that I would just take a dedicated look at this locomotive. And this locomotive is one of the few that have been recently newly released with this simulator edition of this game. So what I've done here is I've just hooked it up to a few passenger wagons, and we're going to go for a little old mosey today. So I hope you've got a little bit of time, because there's going to be quite an adventure. First, what we need to do is, okay, so where are we? We're at City Southwest, so bottom left of the map there, CSW, and just need to figure out where we're going to go. There's nothing scripted here, there's no mission as such. I'm just going to be picking out a path and driving it, basically. It's a huge map. I'm not even going to get halfway across, probably, or maybe I will, who knows. Maybe I'll derail at the first set of points or whatever, who knows. But in any case, I thought I would just simulate a bit of a passenger scenario today. There's a turntable there in the distance. Let's spin this locomotive around first, because it's facing the wrong way and we can't go straight ahead because that's a dead end. So let's get this thing started. And we're not going to hang around, so let's got the reverser in reverse already. Brakes are released. Let's just release the handbrake. Okay, and away we go. So just signal our intentions there, low, and away we go. So this thing has a 9-speed gearbox, which you may have heard me talk about briefly in the first look video that I did just before this one. And so yeah, it does take a little bit of getting used to, but it's also very fun to drive as well for that reason. What I'll do is I'll go through the gear combinations in just a moment, once I get this locomotive and train consist all set up and headed in the right direction. There's a little bit of messing about we need to do here in the yard, unfortunately, because when I created the scenario, it doesn't give you many options on how to place your train. So it's just put me facing the wrong way at the end of the yard there. So that's why I'm just having to back up here just for a second. So there's the turntable there on the right hand side, and just pushing these wagons through the curve here. And to be honest with you, I haven't gone out and measured any of this, so I'm not sure if I'm even going to be able to do this, but hopefully I can, because I would like to take this locomotive for a little drive today. So let's see how we go anyway. So yes, 9-speed gearbox on this thing. It's got 2 gear levers. You've got the primary gearbox and the secondary gearbox, and you've got 3 positions on each. So basically you've got 3x3, 3x3 kind of setup there, which gives you 9 gears in total. You don't have to shift through all 9 obviously in most cases, but you do have that combination available to you of 9 different gear ratios. So I'll show you the sequence of gear changing in a moment, once I just get everything set up here, so just bear with me a moment. What I'll do is I'm just going to stop here, I think, and separate the locomotive from the rest of the train, because I need to go and get it onto the turntable. So I'll just set the handbrake here, and I'll just come in and decouple the locomotive from the rest of the train. And oh, there we go. Let's just close that air valve. I can hear the air valve on the train is leaking out to the atmosphere. That's fine. That will set the brakes in the course of doing that anyway. Okay, so we'll just pull forward here. And I'm just going to do a naughty and leave the train, leave the locomotive while it's still running. I've just got the throttle in idle position there. Just have to set the routes here for the turntable. So yes, the way that this locomotive works is that it's got that 9-speed gearbox, so there's no traction motors or anything like that. I'm just looking at the way that I'm going to do this right now. And yes, okay, I think, because that's the way, I have to sneak the locomotive over that way to the back of the train, and I'm not sure if there's enough space actually. So yes, anyway, we'll get to that in just a moment, won't we? Let's rejoin the proceedings here. Look at that lovely DM2. I kept calling it the DM3. That's the DM2, isn't it? I can't even remember what it says on the engine anymore. But anyway, let's go ahead and just make sure that everything is set correctly here. Yes, we have the path here. Yep, and one more set of points to go through. So just go ahead and hop back on. Just increase the throttle here and get going. Okay, we're in low, so let's shift up a bit into 3-1, as it were. I'll explain how the gears work soon. In this simulation mode, you can ruin the gearbox and ruin the locomotive if you choose the wrong gears as well. So if you're puttering along quite fast and you put it into low, you will screw up the whole gearbox and basically ruin the locomotive. So you have to be very careful when you're driving in this mode, because you can cause real damage and basically ruin your day as well. So you do need to be careful of that. Okay, we just passed through those last set of points there. Just go ahead and set these for the turntable. DM3. Try and remember that. DM3. This is the DM3, not the DM2. Oops, reverse is in the wrong position. Let the handbrake off. So the way that this locomotive works is that it doesn't have any electric motors. It's basically just got the diesel engine, and it's got this massive gearbox, and then you've got 9 gears in that gearbox. In between the gearbox and the engine, you've got what's called a fluid flywheel, which is like those automatic transmission, more or less. And basically, as you accelerate the engine, you've got that fluid coupling that gives you a little bit of smoothness, like an automatic transmission. And basically it allows the engine to not stall when you're stopped. And yeah, then you've got your 9 gears which you can select. So just rolling here up onto the turntable, and I won't do what I did in my last video and completely ruin it by driving off the turntable at full throttle. We won't go there because that was not a very good moment for me. Where is the turntable controls? Oh, hang on, wrong office. Just hop on in here. Just spin this thing around. So this will put the locomotive in the correct direction for running, which I want to be in. Whoops, a little bit off there. That's good. Reassuring click. Oops, just closed the door on myself. Don't want to do that. Not ideal. Okay, reverser is in reverse. Okay, we want to go in that direction. So we're taking the handbrake off, and it's not creeping. I think in the high gears it doesn't really creep that much because there's not as much torque. Should have actually sounded the horn there before we moved off, but anyway. Just in the yard here still. Just need to go past this set of points and then we'll rejoin back onto the line from whence we came. So apologies guys, kind of have to, and girls, kind of have to mess around a little bit in the yard here. Like I was saying before, the scenario editor doesn't give me much of a choice where exactly to place the locomotive when you're designing the scenario, so... I stopped. Oh no, all good, all good. I thought I stopped over the points there. No worries, all good. So yeah, have to do a little bit of messed about here. You can, of course, fast forward if you don't want to see this portion of the video, but I don't know why you'd want to fast forward, that is. Signaled intent. It's going to be a right royal adventure, this one, because we have a few stations to stop off at in this episode. I don't even know where we're going yet, to be honest. I'm sure we'll work it out as we go, and hopefully I don't end up in a ditch somewhere, which is entirely possible as well. And this game does simulate derailing because it's Derail Valley, that's the name of the game, so it's not entirely unexpected that you could just end up upside down and with your windows broken, and probably worse. Anyway, so what I want to do, what am I doing? I don't even know what I'm doing anymore, so just bear with me folks, because I am completely unsure. Oh yes, okay, so I think what we'll do, let's just go ahead and squeeze up to the train. We'll just hop off here. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's turn on these air valves. I'll put chapters in the video as well, you'll see on the timeline, so if you don't want to look at this shunting section and you just want to watch me drive this thing, feel free to just switch to the next chapter there if you want, but I thought it'd be cool to just do a little bit of shunting in this locomotive today. Why isn't this thing moving? What's going on? It's not moving. That's better. Wheels are spinning. The wheels are spinning. Now that's not ideal, that will damage the wheels, but we'll just leave that there for a sec. This handbrake's on, that's why. So don't spin your wheels, do not do that, that's a very bad condition, okay? You will damage the wheels. Anyway. I'm trying to work out why this thing doesn't want to move. The brake pipe looks fine. Come on, I just need to shift the train back this way a little bit more to give me a little bit more clearance on the other side, because I need to get the locomotive around the other side of the train, if you know what I mean. But I think that's fine. That's done what I needed, so I think we're all good now. And just do the old mechanical separation there. Okay, so I need to run around the other side of the train, so just bear with me here while I do that. We'll be running around the mountain. We'll be running around the mountain. We're running around the train. See how much clearance there is at the back of that? If only I just put one less carriage there, I wouldn't have this problem now, but we'll just have to see what happens, because I'm quite certain we're going to trade some paint as we try and squeeze through there. I know we will, but I just don't believe that we are going to like fit through there, to be honest with you. And yeah, let me just suss out what's going on here. Yeah, that's real close. That is real close. I think we are going to trade some paint, to be honest with you. So yeah. Anyway, the things that we do on this channel, the things that I do, is basically push the boundaries. So yeah, going to just checking the handbrakes here. Yeah. All right. Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah. I could bring this thing forward, like back towards us a bit more, the train. But to be honest with you, I'm just gonna try, and I'm just gonna try because you know what? That's how we do things around here. So let's get the train back over the other side. I mean, let's get this locomotive back over the other side of that train and see what happens. Oh boy. Look at that. That is going to be close, ladies and gents. So let's see if we can't squeeze this locomotive past because, yeah, I'm not hopeful, but man, I really don't want to derail this thing, like push it off the track somehow, which is entirely possible. This carriage on the left-hand side weighs about 50 ton, and this locomotive weighs 50 ton, so they're both about even. Oh, we're scratching. Oh, I'm sure I noticed the carriage move just now. We're gonna need low gear for this, folks. I can see the carriage moving a bit. Oh, we just made it. We just made it. Oh, we just got a slight amount of space. Just the slightest amount of space. Well, I'm very happy with that because that saved me from going all the way to the other side of the train once again and shuffling the train forward and whatnot. So, okay, let's get this. Let's stall the locomotive as well. That also helps. All right, let's. Yes, I forgot to set the points to, yeah, I've got to go back over those points. Sorry folks, we'll be right back after these messages and we will connect this locomotive up to that train, to the back of the train. See you shortly. Okay, so coming up to the back of the train, nice and easy, nice and easy. Could have been worse. Okay, let's just couple this thing right up. Set the air valves, charge up the train. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pull this thing back. Basically, I need to pull it back as far over as I can and then move the train in the left-hand direction. Switch the points over, basically. You'll see. Okay, so I'm just going to switch these points over now that I've backed the train up enough. And that will take us in the opposing direction. And then one last step after that is to move this locomotive round to the other side of the train once again. And then finally, we'll be ready to go and start our adventure. So let's just move this thing forward. And then we should catch those points. And they will take us in the left-hand direction. It's an interesting little V, outward V kind of setup that this yard has. So basically allows you to, with some toing and froing, you can set your train up as you need to. Because I need to head in a specific direction here, so let's. Revving the engine out quite hard there and just reduce the throttle a little bit. I will show you how those gear knobs work in just a moment. We're almost there. Okay, I'm just going to separate the train once more. I'm going to run this locomotive around the other side, and then we should be pretty much ready to go. Let's just put these carriages past this set of points coming up here. We're sitting on the red line for the engine. Let's just back off. Shift up into third. Gear 3 out of 9, that is. Okay. Alright. We'll separate the locomotive once more. Just go ahead and do that now. Okay, so can you tell I'm still trying to figure this out in my head as well? I think I'm pretty sure I've got this right anyway. I'm just going to set one handbrake here, that should be fine. Okay, so I've separated the locomotive once more, just doing a final little run around, and we'll move this locomotive to the other end of the train, and then we should be good to go, finally. I was a bit worried there that I'd used the turntable erroneously, but no, it turns out I think I've done it the right way. Well, everything will come out in the wash in just a moment anyway, once I hook back onto the train and find that the locomotive is facing the wrong way. And then I shall have to throw something. Just kidding. Should be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. Oh, shunting and yard work. There's a lot of work to do sometimes, but that's what makes it fun. At least for me. Glad to have you guys along for the ride though, guys and girls. Hope you're enjoying the proceedings so far. Now, in Derail Valley, for those of you who may not know, there is a comms radio which you can use to remotely switch the points over, which is very handy, by the way. Let's crank this throttle up because I want to get this thing moving already. I want to connect up this train. We've been faffing about here in the yard for too long. Oh, we're in top gear now and just labouring that engine away. Now, I didn't really explain how this locomotive works in the first look video that I just put up recently because I derailed the locomotive, so I had to switch to another locomotive and never got around to talking about how it works. So I will explain that in just a moment, and I'll show you guys how the gear levers and whatnot work as well. I think I've pulled the right levers here. So in just a moment, we should be good to go. Yeah, looks alright. Alright, okay, finally. Oh. Okay, use the independent brake instead of the handbrake. Oh, yeah, rev it out. Let's chuck it in top gear and just trundle, shall we? Trundle. Now, sorry, had to do that. This thing is quite realistic in that if you trundle along in too high a gear for the load, you'll actually have the effect of overheating the gearbox. And when you do that, the locomotive won't be happy. So don't do that. Coming in hot. Okay, now we're coming in too cold. Oh, I knew it was there. I knew it was close. Oh well. Alright, ladies and gents, we are finally ready to go. Okay, only 23 minutes into the video and we are good to go. So thank you for staying with me so far, or if you just skipped ahead to this chapter, then very good, carry on. I'm just doing one more walk of shame to make sure that the handbrakes are released and we shall be on our way. So this is it. The locomotive is all set up. I actually debated about starting the video right here, but where's the fun in that? Where is the fun in that? Okay, so what we're going to be doing is heading in a southerly direction once we leave this place, city southwest. So we'll be heading off, yeah, not in that direction. We'll have to go backwards, I think. Let me just bring it up, hang on. And we've got some platforms over there. I'm not going over there. Sorry. Whoever's on the train is on the train. If you're on the platform out there, too bad. Okay, so we'll be having to reverse and then join up, yeah, at the junction there. It'll all make sense shortly, I promise. Alright, so what we have to do is basically reverse this train now. After all of that, I still have to run the train in reverse. But the upside of all this is that we only have to reverse a short distance, back up the line, and then we'll go through a set of points, and that will be on our way! So we are trying to make a getaway in top gear. That's not going to happen, so let's go to low, low. Or maybe second low, as it were, I guess. Yeah, second low. Okay, you see there, I did over-rev the engine, or I think I got it up to the red line there, so very, very careful not to downshift into the wrong gear with this locomotive, because you do have 9 gears, and that will catch you out if you're not careful. Alright, so there's, in the distance there you might see some stuff going on there. It's basically where the points are. So we'll back right up to those points. Let's just shift up a little bit. And then we'll take those points and then we'll be moving off in the direction that I will be showing you in just a moment. So we'll just go through here. Love the ambient sounds in this new simulation edition of Derail Valley. I must say it's done very well indeed. Okay, so not through these points, but there's one more set coming up, and then we'll be going in the left-hand direction once we start moving forward. So we'll be heading off, basically, see those points there? We'll be heading in that direction, up that way, basically, that's where we're going. Alrighty, so let's get off the throttle and let's brake. Let's put a healthy amount of brakes on to stop this whole shenanigans. Apply some engine braking too. Alright, one last set of the points and then finally we'll be moving forwards. Look at that. Look at her. Yes. One for the thumbnail maybe. We'll see. Okay, so this is the set of points we've got to go through, and because we'll be turning left, speed limit is 30 kilometers an hour. If we were going straight, which we just came from there anyway, it was 60, but that's fine. Let's go ahead and flip these points over, and we'll hop back in and I'll explain about these gears, and then we'll spend the rest of the day driving and probably the rest of the night as well. I guess, not sure what the weather's going to be doing for us tonight or in the rest of this day, but we'll see. Big map, so we'll be heading towards the far bottom left-hand section corner of the map, I guess. We'll leave the door open. And, okay, signal the intent. Alright, okay, let's explain how these gears work. So, you've got 2 gear levers here, okay, and you've got Gearbox A, Gearbox B. Each gearbox has 3 positions, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, okay? So to start off, you want low, low, which is 1, 1. Then you want 1, 2, okay? Then you want 2, 1. And then you want 2, 2. And then you want 3, 1. Then you want 3, 2. Then you want 2, 3. Then finally, 3, 3 gives you top gear. Got it? Okay, great. Because I don't. I've just written all this down on a sheet of paper, and what I do is, as I'm driving, I look at what gear I'm in, And if I need to slow down or speed up, I'll shift up or down according to what I've written down. That's the easiest way for me to kind of get it into my head. But you don't have to shift all 9 gears, obviously. You can just, if you want to, you can skip a few gears depending on the situation. And especially if you don't have a heavy load behind you, you'll find that you're okay to just skip a few gears. Just don't leave it in top gear and try and give it full throttle, because you'll burn out your gearbox, and you'll notice that as I'm driving as well. So, okay, I think we're finally good to go. Have one last look at the map there. Signal the intent once again, brakes off, and away we shall go. Take the engine brake off, that helps, because we want to move. Now when you shift, always good to just lay off the throttle first. Now I just went straight to 2.2 there, and you'll notice that's my engine RPM. And then back to the, well, I'm not going to shift this now, but the engine's revving up, so I've just reduced the power a little bit. I think this might be a incline we got coming up, not sure. I'm just letting the engine kind of rev up a little bit here, because there might be a hill and we might need this power. Let's just back off a little bit. Oh no! Yeah, you see, you hear the gears crunching there when you don't idle the engine properly when you're shifting. So if there's any twist on the gearbox as you're shifting, you will crunch the gears, so that's not ideal. So, quick pop quiz, what gear am I in? I'm in 3-1 now, and now I'm in 3-3, and now back to 2-3, that is. So 2-3 is one level back from top gear. And the engine's just taking that nicely, I think. Turns out it's not really an incline. Just switch to outside view here and have a look as we mosey on through with this lovely diesel mechanical locomotive. Going for a little mosey today. We're just seeing the sights, taking in the surrounds, hopefully not derailing and ending up upside down. Always ideal to keep it on the tracks. I can't really say rubber side down either, because we don't have any rubber on the bottom. It's a lovely day to be driving as well, isn't it? Hopefully the weather holds up. Now I'm not playing this in VR mode at the moment, I'm just playing this with a keyboard and mouse and just a standard PC monitor. I was playing the VR mode of this game initially when it first came out, but I find that the earlier gen VR headsets are starting to show their age now, and I think I need to upgrade. And of course, to support that, I probably need to upgrade my aging hardware on my PC a little bit as well. So, for now, this will suffice just fine. The shadowing effects from the trees are really nice as they hit the locomotive there, and you can see the sun rays as well, just bleeding through a little bit through the trees. It's actually getting a little bit later in the day now, so yeah, you can see the shadows on the side there of the train getting a bit long. We did spend quite a bit of time in the yard actually, so 40k an hour speed limit, that's fine, we're well below that. Not even going 30. Just moseying on through. Yeah, it is going to get dark soon, and who knows, we might run into some weather as well, so strap yourselves in and we'll see what the rest of this journey has to offer us. Right now just plodding along in gear 2-3, which is again one step down from top gear. So gear 8 of 9 at the moment. And this gear seems to do okay on the level straights. level sections of track, I should say. Now you can see there the mountains kind of block the sun now, so we're just heading through this shaded section. Definitely going to need this headlight tonight, or these headlights. Just take it easy there on the throttle. Always want to look ahead and just see what the track is doing up ahead. Okay, so you can see there the oil temp on the gearbox. So you always want to make sure that you choose the right gear for the situation. Hang on a sec. One more blast! Just in case there's any hikers in the tunnel. Don't want to be running over them. Not ideal. Only a short tunnel this one. Okay, so what was I saying about the gears? So basically, if you're in like high now, so we're in like 3.3, and if I go ahead and put the throttle on heavy now, you will actually see that the oil temp will rise quite sharply in the gearbox, and that's when you know that you have to downshift. Okay, so if you're labouring along in 3.3, which is the 9th gear, and then you put it on full throttle, and you're going up a hill, probably don't want to do that. The engine struggles, the temperature rises in the gearbox, and you could actually have a mechanical failure as well. So back off the throttle in that case, and just shift back to say 2.3, or even further down to 3.2 or 3.1, and so on. Just depending on your speed. You don't want to shift down too sharply if you're still carrying a lot of speed. So those are the kind of things you just have to be wary of. Like I think I did mention before, just write all the gear ranges down on a sheet of paper, and then you can just refer to them as you drive. So if you quickly need to shift down, you'll know just by looking at the gear combinations and comparing them to what combination you're in at the moment, where you need to be. Just put on a little bit more throttle here. We are in top gear right now, and I think this feels like it could be a bit of a hill, but I think it's mostly level. Look at those visuals. I must say, the lighting effects of this new simulator edition, the fact that you've got that day-night cycle, is just, it's awesome. It's no longer just midday the whole time while you're playing the game. You actually got that day-night cycle shifting through, cycling through as you drive. So definitely gives you that extra challenge. I'm just going to shift down here to 2.3. So that's 8th gear. Got a little bit of a hill here. I must say this engine is actually making quite light work of the load behind it. We've got 5 carriages there, and they are 50 ton each. So that's 250 ton plus 50 ton for the engine. So yeah, that's 300 ton basically, this train right now. So I mean, it's probably nowhere near the limit of it, but it's doing okay. Just watching those engine revs there, don't want to get them too high. But you'll notice I'm keeping the revs high right now, because if I need to engine brake, engine braking is more effective when you've got higher revs. And just keeping an eye out on that oil temp on that left-hand gauge as well. It's safely within limits there. The gearbox is happy. It's starting to rain a little bit. Not many clouds up above, but looks like we might have some weather rolling in after all. Interesting. That is very interesting indeed. rain started a little bit more now. Gonna have to keep tabs on the weather because if the track gets wet, that's going to affect our traction as well. And I'm not sure, to be honest with you, this particular section of the track I haven't actually been in quite often. So we're in 2-3 now, so that's one from the top, doing fine. Gearbox is nice and warm, but nothing too hot, nothing too crazy. Alright, so just want to make sure. Okay, so yeah, I'm not going to touch any of these points up ahead because they should actually just sound a bit of a warning there. They should actually just take us through the center. I'm just going to make sure they do actually. So I believe this is southwest. This is just an industry area. I think this is where they have some logging. So you can pick up logging wagons from here. I might just stop the train here. The wipers aren't happy. It's not actually that wet outside, but the rain is starting. So I think the rain's going to get worse. I think I might just halt here. I'm just deciding whether I should stop here or not. I'm kind of tempted to just keep going, you know, because there's still a bit of light and the weather's just picking up. It'd be a shame to kind of just leave it here and wrap the video up. So might just stop here for a quick breather. Let the imaginary passengers stretch their legs if there are any passengers in those carriages. I don't know. The lights are off, so who knows anymore. Have a bit of a mosey around here. This is southwest, I believe, and yeah, basically an industrial siding in Derail Valley. One of the few that you can pick up wagons from and deliver goods to and from. We're not going to be picking up anything right now. What I'll do, I think, is probably from here we'll turn left and we'll head towards the middle of the map. So probably make our way towards the steel mill, where that little yellow shaded dot is on the map. You can see that, but where it says SM on the map there, towards the middle of the map, I think that's where we'll go. So yeah, anyway, you probably don't need to worry too much about the direction we'll be taking. Just enjoy the ride and let me figure out how to get there, because, well, hopefully I know how to get there. Alright, all aboard. Let's get going. Put it into 2-1 there. Don't need low. Engine brake off, that always helps. Wipers are still not happy. The glass is too dry, but hey, it is raining. And it is starting to come down a little bit more now. Let's shift up. We're going to 2-2. Hear those engine revs climbing. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Let's shift up. Okay, 3-2. So just skip the gear there. Instead of going 3-1, we just went from 2-2 to 3-2. So that is entirely possible as well, as you can see here. So you don't need to sit there going 1-1, 1-2, 2-1, 2-2, 3-1, 3-2, and so on. All these different combinations. Don't let that kind of scare you with this locomotive. You can just skip your gears in most cases. The important thing is just keep an eye out on your oil temperature in the gearbox, basically. You just don't want that to get too high. Alright, let's add some engine braking here because the engine is revving up and we are picking up speed as well. We are going down a downhill now. I think we're going down the other side of the hill from the looks there. Okay, ooh, okay, yep, that's a downhill, minus 1.4 degree descent. Or 1.4%, I think. Minus 1.4%, so... I've got the throttle at idle right now, and I've got a little bit of engine braking on, and I've selected the gear that will give me a good amount of RPM. Obviously not redline the tachometer, but yeah, within reason anyway. Everything in moderation. That's a 40k an hour limit, we're doing just fine. Ghost train continues into the night. Lights are off. The passenger carriages aren't like finished, I guess, at the moment. They do have an interior, and I could have showed you guys that actually, but yeah, spending so much time just trying to get this train pointed in the right direction initially. Unfortunately, the weather is well and truly here, so much for the good weather. Let's just shift up a bit because now, okay, when you do this, if you go into top gear, see how speed's creeping up now? Don't let that get away from you. Now if I try to engine brake at this lower RPM, it's probably not going to be very happy. We do have a junction coming up, so let's just put the engine braking on a little bit before we even touch the air brake. Okay, that's a 70 km/h limit, that's good, but it's still a downhill, so we've got that Y junction coming up soon, and we want to make sure that we are headed off to the left hand side. Yep, so there's the Y warning, 0.2 kilometers, I think, so 200 meters. We've got a Y point coming up, so just got to, I'll get onto the comms radio actually, if need be. Just try and manage the speed here, and the weather is really coming down now. It's okay. Yeah, the weather's really not helping. Yep, I'm gonna need to change, yep, those points. Good thing I've got this remote that can do it for me. To stop the train and get out. Okay, so it's 120 km/h limit the way we're going. So, but still, I'm just going to make sure that we've got a bit of power here. As we pilot this thing through the darkness. And now we're in 3-1. Quite barren out here, isn't it? No trees for the moment. The ice peeled. Yeah, okay, so our temperature's creeping up a little bit. We are struggling a bit, so just keep an eye out on the oil temp. Yep, we're going up the hill. Going up a hill. Let's back off the power a bit because our temperatures are rising. You want to have enough of a buffer on your gearbox temperature, because if you're too hot and then you're at the start of a hill, you're not going to fare well trying to get up that hill. You've got to make sure that your gearbox temperatures are not elevated to begin with. So what's that? That's an 80 km/h. But next speed limit's going to be coming down, I think. we're using sand. I wonder, how do we turn off the sand? I think that's off, isn't it? Oh no, that's off. Yeah, that's better. I don't know why I had the sand on. Okay, 50 km/h limit now. Got heaps of fuel, over 3/4 pretty much. And that is level ground, speed limit 50 and coming down soon. So just be careful, look at that, it's just darkness everywhere. Upshift a bit because and then pour on the power. Watch those temps go through the roof. Oh, that's not good. So you don't want that happening. See how that gearbox is just warming up now, and the speed's not really being like affected too much. So back off a bit on the power if you notice the gearbox getting too hot, and then just shift down. But I think we can manage this now. And that is. Oh, I love the way the trees just get pushed out of the way as well. Revs up in case we need to engine brake here. Gearbox temps are fine. Watch the track like a hawk. But watch out, man, this weather is really treacherous. Getting close to the red zone. Let's put on a bit of engine braking so that we can just halt the train a bit. See, we're not touching the brakes now, we're just using the engine to slow us down. So I need the world map. Okay, we're making our way up. We've got another Y junction coming up soon, and that will take us onto the line where we'll basically probably got just 2 more stops, or 2 more stations time will probably stop. So it's getting a bit late now, so probably we won't go too much further once we get back onto the east-west track, and that's not far away now. We're just heading north at the moment. Oh no. See, I had the engine braking on there and I tried to change gear, so always make sure that your engine brakes are off and that you're idling the throttle before you change gear. Alright, I'm in 2.3 now. Do not dare go to 2.2. That will over-rev the engine and blow it up. So train is just in darkness behind us. I really hope there's no passengers in there actually, because it really wouldn't be a good experience for them right now, just sitting there in the cold dark, probably just on their phones. Yeah, see, that's the danger of going into top gear. Now you don't get much engine braking, so having to put on the air brake Yep, still a downhill. Oh no, I think we've locked up the wheels. We're at 0 the speed. Oh wow. Did you hear that? We locked up the wheels. That is rather crazy. I just put on too much braking and we were sliding there. We were just sliding on the rails because of the wet rails. That's crazy, man. That you really got to be careful using the brakes in this weather. You put too much braking on, you'll just lock up the wheels. So that's where the engine braking is much more advantageous. Obviously you've got to keep your revs up to get the most of that. So that's what I'm doing here. Put the engine brake on hard. That'll hold us back without locking up the wheels. Okay. And just going through points there, looking good. So we're going off to the right as we want to go. This is a 60 limit and it should be increasing. Heaps of wiggle room on the speed there, so no issues. Just turn off these wipers. I don't think we really need them right now. We'll see. And yes, we've just passed that junction. So yeah, we are on the east-west pretty much section. And coming down soon. We're about to pass through Oil Well Central, I think, OWC, and then the farm after that. I've never been to that little home icon, that little red icon above the farm, the FM, I think it is. That little home icon, I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe I'll check it out one day. But yes, just going to roll through those stations and depots. Not going to touch any points. Let's just put her into top gear. Save some fuel. And we're just cruising now. We're in 3.3 top gear. Here's Oil Well Central. 50k limit, I think, through here. Very flammable section of Derail Valley right here. If these wagons go up, they will go off spectacularly. We have explosions everywhere. Plodding our way through, plodding on through Oil Well Central here, through these points. Those points make a bit of a racket. side. Getting a bit late now. We'll see if we can park this thing up soon. I intend to, the next set of lights up here, this is the farm. And once we're past the farm, then it's our final stop. The steel mill is where I intend to just lay up for the night and just wrap up. So hopefully there's room at the steel mill because it's normally pretty busy there. Hopefully the platform siding is free so I can lay up these cars. Going through the farm here. Okay, so now we're leaving the farm area, and this is next stop basically is where we should be stopping, and that's only just around this corner more or less. You can just see those lights in the distance there, just coming into view. That's the steel mill, and that's our intended destination. So I just wanted to do a little bit of more of a run with this thing and just get to grips with it a bit more. It's a wonderful locomotive. Dare I say, it's got more tractive effort and more power than the little shunter. The gear combinations do take a little bit of getting used to, but it's not rocket science once you kind of get used to the general gist of it. There's the steel mill in the distance there, looming closer. If we wanted to go to Harbour and Town, we would basically hang a right up ahead. But we won't be doing that. I'm pretty sure, yeah, so there's the junction. Let's just make sure that it's should be straight. The points should be set. Yep, the points are facing straight or off to the left, so that's where we want to go. Off to the right there, as I was saying, that's how you go to Harbour and Town. There's actually a bit of an incline going up that way, and we've got a bit of an incline here as well. So I'm going to have to put the power on here just briefly, just to get us over this crest, and then we'll be right up into the steel mill after that. We're in top gear. Let's just add a bit of power. A bit more. Let's just floor it. Yeah, Gearbox is not happy. It's getting... it's like, what are you doing to me? Alright. Let's get off the power. Shift down and try again. That's a bit better. Okay, there's the steel mill. So on the far right we should have the platforms. I'm going to see if I can't just bring this train in, but it looks like a busy night at the steel mill. It looks like there's just rolling stock everywhere. Nah, that's not good. So yeah, there we are at the steel mill, SM. Yeah, there's the platform. Actually, probably could have just snuck in there, but We do have quite a long train behind us actually, so I don't know. I don't think there's just rolling stock everywhere. I might see what it's like at the other end of the platform, but it looks like I can see wagons there in the background, so that's a shame. I don't want to park on the main line, which is the line that we're on right now. There's a little bit of space here, but we've got 5 passenger cars behind us. They're quite long actually. Look at that. Those flat cars are just taking up the platform. Why are you at the platform siding? Oh. I might just roll through here, and there is a engine shed coming up on the right hand side. Sorry, level crossing. Yeah, okay. I think I'm just going to continue on. There is a siding that way, but that goes more towards the, I don't know, like the steel mill innards, I guess you could say. Don't really want to park there. What I'll do is, like I was saying just now, there's a junction coming up very shortly. I'll just veer off there. Yeah, I'll just see if I can't just park in the engine shed and just leave the cars behind us, so what? As long as we're off the main line. That's the important thing. Won't be too much longer now. Almost there. Almost home free. I know it's getting late. Let's just get the comms radio out, because I'm sure that this point is not set. Normally it's set for the main line. Okay, so points are now set off to the right. We'll be heading into the engine shed, and the engine shed comes up very, very quickly here, so we've got to be ready on the brake, because it's going to loom up in front of us. There's the fences, there's the boundary of the engine shed area, the engine yard. Just make sure that we don't overshoot here. Still carrying a bit of speed. That's been quite a run actually, and I'm tired, I must say. I'm just using the independent brake to slow down here. Not great, because I've got a lot of weight behind us. It's not good for the locomotive, but oh well. Just rolling on into the engine shed here. And I hope there's no passengers behind us in those cars, because they have nowhere to go. Anyway, whatever. Yes, let's shut her down. The old DM3. She's done well. She's done well. Just jam on the handbrake there. Just reset all these levers. Let's just turn off the... I'm not going to turn off the electrics, just turn off the headlight and the... yeah, just the outside lights basically. I'll leave the electrics on and the cab light on. I do have... yeah, I feel like I should set the handbrakes on the engine there. I do have access to... There is this lantern which I probably should be using. I just need to remember how to use this. Hang on a second. I think you need the lighter to use it. So I'll just get the lighter and... oh, hang on. Light her up. That's better. That's very handy. Have a little lantern and you can actually just head on out and get a little bit of light to see what you're doing, because Otherwise, things just get... Let's drop that down. You can use the R key to drop things. So I'm just going to settle the handbrakes here anyway. I'm just going to quickly do this. And this is the last wagon, last carriage, and I've set the handbrake. Okay, excellent. That's it, folks. Once again, thanks for watching. If you do want to see me cover any particular aspect of the Derail Valley simulator soon, or in future videos, just let me know. Utilize the comment section below. Please like, comment, subscribe. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, and share it with your friends as well if you like. If you enjoyed it, if you think they might enjoy it. If not, that's fine. Yes, it's very much night time now, so yes, we shall leave it here. And thank you once again for watching, and yeah, see you in the next one. Time to go home.